In the chaotic aftermath of World War II, as nations grappled with the lessons learned from the most devastating conflict in human history, and military strategists sought to equip their soldiers with weapons that could dominate the battlefields of the future, a Soviet designer named Sergei Gavrilovich Simonov was about to unleash a rifle so robust, so reliable, and so incredibly enduring that it would refuse to quit the battle for over 70 years, serving in conflicts from the Korean War to modern-day skirmishes in remote corners of the globe. This is the extraordinary story of the SKS Carbine, a weapon that, despite being overshadowed by its more famous successor, the AK-47, carved out its own legendary status as the gun that couldn't quit the battle, becoming a symbol of resilience and practical design. Designed to bridge the gap between bolt-action rifles and true assault rifles, the SKS offered a unique blend of accuracy, firepower, and unparalleled durability that made it an indispensable tool for countless soldiers and irregular forces across decades. Its fixed magazine, integrated bayonet, and gas-operated action were hallmarks of a design philosophy that prioritized simplicity and ruggedness, ensuring that the SKS would continue to function reliably long after more complex weapons had failed. What began as a stopgap measure in Soviet military doctrine evolved into a global phenomenon, proving that sometimes the most effective military technology isn't the most cutting edge, but rather the most dependable and adaptable to the harsh realities of combat. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel right now for more incredible war secrets and the legendary weapons that refuse to fade into history despite decades of technological advancement. The development of the SKS Carbine began during World War II, when Soviet military planners recognized the need for a new class of infantry weapon that could bridge the gap between the long-range, powerful but slow-firing bolt-action rifles and the emerging concept of automatic assault rifles. The Red Army had learned bitter lessons from close-quarters combat against German forces, where the superior firepower of German submachine guns often overwhelmed Soviet infantry armed with slower-firing rifles. This realization led to the development of the 7.62 39mm intermediate cartridge, a revolutionary ammunition type that offered a balance of manageable recoil, effective range, and sufficient stopping power for infantry engagements. Sergei Simonov, a veteran firearms designer with a reputation for creating robust and simple weapons, was tasked with developing a carbine specifically chambered for this new cartridge, a weapon that would be easy to manufacture, simple to operate, and incredibly reliable under the most brutal battlefield conditions. Simonov's design philosophy for the SKS was rooted in practicality and durability. He understood that Soviet soldiers often operated in harsh environments with limited access to sophisticated maintenance, so the weapon needed to be rugged enough to withstand neglect and abuse while remaining fully functional. The SKS, officially adopted in 1945 as the Samozaryadny Karabin Systemy Simonova, 1945, self-loading carbine, Simonov system, 1945, featured a gas-operated tilting bolt action, a fixed 10-round internal magazine loaded with stripper clips, and a permanently attached folding bayonet. These features were not accidental. They were deliberate choices aimed at creating a weapon that was simple to use, quick to reload, and always ready for close-quarters combat, reflecting the tactical realities of post-war infantry engagements. The fixed magazine, while limiting capacity compared to detachable box magazines, contributed significantly to the SKS's legendary reliability by eliminating a common point of failure found in many early automatic weapons. The SKS quickly entered service with the Soviet Army, but its tenure as a frontline weapon was relatively short-lived. Almost immediately after its introduction, the revolutionary AK-47 assault rifle, also chambered for the 7.62 39mm cartridge, began to gain prominence. The AK-47 offered full automatic fire capability and a detachable 30-round magazine, features that quickly made the SKS seem somewhat outdated by comparison. By the mid-1950s, the Soviet Union had largely phased out the SKS from frontline combat units, replacing it with the AK-47. However, this was far from the end of the SKS's story. Instead of fading into obscurity, the SKS began a new chapter as a weapon of choice for reserve units, paramilitary forces, and, most significantly, as a military aid export to allied nations and revolutionary movements around the world. Its simplicity and robust design made it perfect for countries building their own armies or for guerrilla fighters operating with limited resources. The SKS's global journey began in earnest during the Cold War, as the Soviet Union and its allies supplied vast quantities of the carbine to friendly nations and proxy forces. China, in particular, became a major producer of the SKS, manufacturing millions of Type 56 carbines that were virtually identical to the Soviet original. Other countries, including East Germany, Romania, Yugoslavia, Albania and North Korea, also produced their own variants, often with minor modifications, but always retaining the core reliability and simplicity of Simonov's design. This widespread production and distribution meant that the SKS became one of the most ubiquitous military firearms of the 20th century, finding its way into virtually every major conflict and insurgency from the 1950s onwards, proving its adaptability to diverse combat environments and tactical doctrines. One of the most iconic conflicts where the SKS played a significant role was the Korean War. Although the AK-47 was beginning to appear, the SKS was widely used by North Korean and Chinese forces, proving its effectiveness in the brutal close-quarters fighting and mountainous terrain of the Korean peninsula. Its reliability in extreme cold and its ability to deliver accurate semi-automatic fire made it a formidable weapon in the hands of determined infantry. Soldiers on both sides quickly learned to respect the SKS for its ruggedness and consistent performance, often preferring it over more complex or less reliable weapons when faced with the unforgiving realities of combat. The fixed bayonet, often seen as an anachronism by Western forces, proved surprisingly effective in the desperate hand-to-hand engagements that characterized much of the fighting in Korea, further cementing the SKS's reputation as a battle-proven weapon. The Vietnam War further solidified the SKS's reputation as a weapon that simply wouldn't quit. North Vietnamese Army, NVA regulars and Viet Cong guerrillas used the SKS extensively, often alongside the AK-47. While the AK-47 was favored for its full auto capability and larger magazine, the SKS was prized for its superior accuracy at longer ranges, its quieter operation, and its ability to function reliably even when subjected to the extreme humidity, mud, and neglect of jungle warfare. Many American soldiers reported encountering SKS carbines that were decades old, heavily worn, and poorly maintained, yet still functioned perfectly, a testament to the weapon's incredible durability and Simonov's genius for practical engineering. The SKS became a familiar sight in the hands of enemy combatants, a symbol of the resilience and resourcefulness of the forces arrayed against the technologically superior American military. Beyond major conflicts, the SKS became a staple of countless smaller wars, insurgencies, and liberation movements across Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America. Its low cost, ease of maintenance, and robust construction made it ideal for irregular forces operating with limited logistical support and technical expertise. A fighter with minimal training could quickly learn to operate and maintain an SKS, and the weapon would continue to function reliably even under conditions of extreme neglect and abuse. This accessibility and dependability ensured that the SKS remained a relevant and effective weapon long after it had been officially replaced by more modern designs in the arsenals of major powers. Its widespread availability on the global black market further extended its reach, ensuring its presence in conflicts for decades to come. The SKS's fixed 10-round magazine, initially seen as a limitation compared to the AK-47's detachable high-capacity magazines, actually became an advantage in certain scenarios. For soldiers operating in dense jungle or mountainous terrain, a fixed magazine meant no magazines to lose, and the stripper clip loading, while slower than a magazine change, was still relatively quick and reliable. Furthermore, the SKS's slightly longer barrel and sight radius often gave it a marginal accuracy advantage over the early AK-47 models, making it a preferred choice for designated marksmen or for engagements where precision was more critical than sheer volume of fire. This nuance in its design contributed to its continued relevance in specific tactical niches. The enduring popularity of the SKS also extended to the civilian market, particularly in North America after the Cold War. As vast quantities of surplus SKS rifles became available from former Soviet bloc countries, they were imported into the United States and Canada, where they quickly became popular due to their affordability, reliability, and the availability of inexpensive 7.62 39mm ammunition. Many enthusiasts appreciated the SKS for its historical significance, its robust construction, and its surprisingly good accuracy for a military surplus rifle. It became a common choice for hunting, sport shooting, and as a general-purpose utility rifle, further extending its incredible lifespan beyond military service. The SKS's design philosophy, emphasizing simplicity and durability, was a direct reflection of Soviet military doctrine, which valued weapons that could be easily mass-produced, maintained by conscripts with basic training, and function reliably in any environment. This approach, while sometimes seen as less sophisticated than Western designs, proved incredibly effective in practice. The SKS, much like the AK-47, embodied this philosophy perfectly, becoming a workhorse weapon that prioritized function over form and reliability over complexity. Its success underscored the idea that a weapon doesn't need to be cutting-edge to be highly effective and enduring. Even today, in the 21st century, the SKS can still be found in active use in various parts of the world, particularly in regions experiencing ongoing conflicts or where access to modern firearms is limited. Its continued presence in these hotspots is a testament to its fundamental soundness and the sheer number of units that were produced. While it may no longer be a primary service rifle for major armies, its role as a reliable, accessible, and effective weapon for irregular forces and civilian defense remains significant, cementing its status as a true gun that couldn't quit the battle. Its story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the most impactful innovations are those that are built to last, designed with an unwavering focus on the practical needs of the soldier on the ground, rather than chasing the latest technological fads. The SKS's legacy is multifaceted. It represents a pivotal moment in firearms development, bridging the gap between traditional rifles and modern assault weapons. It symbolizes the widespread influence of Soviet military technology during the Cold War. And perhaps most importantly, it stands as an icon of resilience, a weapon that, despite being designed as a temporary solution, proved its worth time and again, adapting to new roles and new battlefields with unwavering dependability. Its journey from the drawing boards of Sergei Simonov to the hands of countless fighters and civilians around the globe is a testament to a design that truly couldn't quit. A weapon that kept fighting long after its supposed retirement, earning its place as one of the most enduring firearms in history. The SKS's impact on military doctrine, particularly in developing nations, was profound. It provided a reliable, affordable, and easily maintainable semi-automatic rifle that could equip large numbers of infantry, significantly increasing their firepower compared to older bolt-action rifles. This allowed smaller, less industrialized nations to field effective armies and guerrilla forces, influencing the balance of power in regional conflicts and contributing to the spread of Soviet bloc military influence during the Cold War. Its widespread adoption meant that millions of soldiers around the world were trained on and familiar with the SKS, creating a common operational standard for a generation of infantry. Even today, the SKS continues to see limited use in various conflicts and by paramilitary groups, a testament to its enduring functionality. While no longer a primary frontline weapon for major armies, its presence in remote and resource-scarce regions highlights its fundamental reliability and the sheer volume of carbines that were produced and distributed globally. It remains a symbol of a bygone era of firearms design, where mechanical simplicity and ruggedness were paramount, and a weapon's worth was measured by its ability to perform consistently when lives depended on it. The SKS is more than just a rifle. It's a piece of living history, a testament to a design that simply refused to be retired. If this incredible story of the SKS Carbine, the gun that simply couldn't quit the battle for over 70 years, has fascinated you as much as it has fascinated us, please make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. What surprised you most about the SKS's incredible longevity and adaptability? Do you think its simplicity was its greatest strength, or did its fixed magazine limit its potential? Have you ever encountered an SKS, either in military service or in the civilian market? We'd love to hear your perspective on this remarkable piece of military history and the enduring legacy of Sergei Simonov's design. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more secrets of war and incredible stories of the weapons that shaped military history.